didn't even introduce yourself.
I didn't even introduce myself. Wow, I knew going in.
We have to learn how to love kids.
I really learned myself.
85% of our calls are EMS.
And that's not only for police, but, it is for firefighters and 911 telecommunicators.
Our last guest is going to be a great show today.
Mm-hmm.
God said, come as you are, right?
You gotta go down memory lane. Oh, man. No, that was really cool.
Great conversation, you guys. Wow.
You know it feels so good.
All right, good morning, 1340 a.m. Joy 1340 a.m. listeners. I am Officer Ralph McClain, the Milwaukee Police Department, and I am out of the Office of Community Relations, Engagement, and Recruitment, and I'm here with my co-host.
Yes, sir. My name is Jordan Dickerson. I am one of the recruiters with the City of Milwaukee Fire and Police Commission, and we are back with episode 33 of The Conversation.
The conversation. We are glad to be back in the building. Last week was pretty sweet.
It was. Honestly, I had a good time being out there. Like, just we were out on a patio just doing a recording. I think that was pretty cool.
I think that was cool, yeah. And this week, of course, we're back in the studio here. Mm-hmm. And just weather-wise, just in case, it's misting a little bit outside, sprinkling. I'm sure that wouldn't be good, as Jason said, Justin said, for the equipment. I'm sure that wouldn't be too cool.
That is true.
Yeah.
I always remember what you said in our couple episodes ago when you talked about the weather and not allowing it to affect your mood and stuff like that. So I feel like that's one thing that we can always take with you. Like, no, even if it's raining, it's still a good day because you woke up and you're alive.
I'm glad you said that, because as you see here, I got my oatmeal shaken espresso, and I walked into Starbucks. I'm not gonna say which one, but I walked into Starbucks. Everybody seemed like they were mad, man. I don't know if it's because of the great day or the clouds.
You know what? I think we got a topic of discussion that we're going to bring up at some point during this conversation.
Right. So we're glad that we're back in here and glad to be back on the air. And for the listeners, we always want to mention that the City of Milwaukee, Milwaukee Police Department is hiring for officers. If you know anyone who wanted to do this job and thought about what it would be like to make a living protecting their community and keeping everyone safe, please go to the City of Milwaukee /jobs website to fill out the application, which is posted 11 months out of the year. Also, we would like to announce that our police aid for police aids are going to be posted, the application rather will be posted starting Friday, August 3rd. Is that correct? Or what's the date of 1st?
Today's the 1st.
Oh, August 2nd.
So 2nd. Yeah.
August 2nd, yeah. It will be posted up, running on the City of Milwaukee website as well. Jordan will give you a little bit of information about that.
Yeah, so real quick, if you ever have any questions about the police officer process, also the police aid, which I'll touch on a little bit, feel free to text this number right here. It's 414-519-6190. Again, that's 414-519-6190. All you have to do is text your first name, text your last name, and then text which position you're interested in. It could be police officer, it could be police aide, or it could even be fire cadet, because that one will actually be open up as well. But what the police aid program is, it's essentially a 2-year apprenticeship style program that we offer for our youth ages 17 and 20 years old. They have to be graduated high school at least, because it is a full-time position, right? And I think this is a great program because it's one of those things like, when we're young, we don't know fully what we want to do. This gives you an opportunity to kind of dip your toe in the water and into the water, right? Because in this program, you'll be learning about different things, different areas, different aspects of what it's like to be a police officer. You work with different districts. And you just get a little bit more hands-on feel to see if this is something that you want. So if you ever thought about, having a career as a police officer and you're between the ages of 17 and 20 years old, but you're not fully sure yet, just give it a try. It's a 2-year program. You learn about it, and if you decide that you don't want to do it afterwards, at least you could take away some of the skills from it.
Absolutely, it's a great way to form great mentorships. Also, you develop some connections with great officers on this job that will help you along the way. We prepare you for every step of the initial process, which includes a series of tests, but we have prep sessions for each of those. We will also be out in the high schools coming this fall, talking a little bit about the program as well as school begins. I think
Yeah.
last of this month and then next month in September.
Yeah, and then also like that, so we have Fire Cadet 2, which is essentially the same thing, it's just in a different career, right? And that's for ages 17 to 19 years old. So, so like a 2-year window span. But yeah, same exact concept, you know, if you're interested in the fire field, but you're not really sure, 2-year style program where you're just learning, actively training to be a firefighter. So whichever one you decide, you know, just send us a text to that number again, and, you know, we'll be happy to help answer any questions that you have.
Absolutely. And now I would like to welcome back to the program because this officer has been here before. Great brother. It's one of those things, as I just mentioned about the police aid, and you form mentors, or you have those who are willing to mentor you. This brother here would be great for mentoring any young person. He's out here in these streets, as they say. People I'm sure recognize him and know him. It's Officer Dominique Thompson from District 7. You usually see him and his partner, Officer Alicia Walker, but I think she may be somewhere laying out on the beach or under the palm tree somewhere. But we have Officer Thompson in the building with us, and he's going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff, National Night Outs, and what that is. If no one has ever heard of the National Night Outs, it's a national initiative with law enforcement to combine with the community to talk about resources that are in the community, talk about any issues that may be there, and then also just to have some fun. We have activities out there, food will be out there, things for the kids. So it's always a wonderful time, and each district station has their own National Night Out. So we're lucky here in Milwaukee. I know some of the smaller towns and surrounding areas, they have one, which is good, but we have several. So Dominique Thompson is here to talk about that, affectionately known as DT.
Yes, sir.
So if I say DT, I'm referring to this brother that's across the table for us. So we welcome him to the back, like I said before, because he was co-host.
Yep, I was just going to say, we welcome you officially as a guest to the show, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
All right, that's good.
Great. So the first one up, appropriately enough, as they would say, is District 7's National Night Out. You want to let people know the dates and times and what's going to be going on at that one.
Okay, for District 7, it will be next week, Tuesday, August 6th. It will be at Sherman Park. The address is 3000 North Sherman Boulevard, I believe, and that's the same area as the Mary Ryan's Boys and Girls Club. We have several resource tables that will actually be out there. We have some food vendors, and once again, everything at National Night is free.
Free?
Free 99.
Okay.
That's a good word.
Right.
I had to make sure I throw that out there. So we're going to have some good food out there. I know we got a guy that actually does our corn each year. He will be out there. What else? I know we're going to have burgers, hot dogs. We got a new snow cone machine we're going to put to use. We're going to have popcorn, and we have a few other vendors that will actually be out there. We also will have like some horseback riding for some cowboys. So the kids that can get their first experience with actually getting on the horse. We're actually going to do a kickball game and a baseball diamond over there by Sherman Park. So make sure you bring your cleats. Take it back to elementary school. Like recess.
Are you good at kickball?
I used to be.
Okay.
But, due to age,
You go-
I ain't gonna say much.
Hey, look, we'll find out on Tuesday,
Right.
August 6th.
Gotta make sure that I stretch. I don't want to pull anything.
Yeah, the National Night Out, as I said, it's a wonderful event each and every year that we have. You come and the vendors that agree to be there, we want to shout out and thank all the vendors who agree to sign up to come out and share information with the community, much needed information and knowledge about various things. Sometimes there's things there about home loans. They may have VOW
Awesome.
there or a bank or whatever there. And then we have resources regarding, maybe childcare or activities for the kids during the summer. So it's always a wonderful time. Come on out. We would love to see everyone out there.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that it's something that the department does. And you spoke and you touched on it a little bit earlier when you said, even like it's going to be a great time. It's an amazing time to have fun, come out, interact with officers and everything. But also, like you said, if you're going to be there, if you have questions that you want to have, concerns that you need to be brought up, that's your opportunity to still go there, and just have that conversation. I think it's so important that, the police department is actually doing that and allowing that because, if we're just being real, we see a lot of things that go on that happens across the world, and just to touch on it a little bit, even the situation with Sonia Macy was, you have these experiences, very unfortunate circumstance, and these communities they grieve from that experience, and sometimes they grieve and they don't always feel like, dang, like does my department care, right? Like, or is this just another officer who's gonna like kind of get away with things and everything like that? And I actually kind of looked into that, and I seen that the sheriff department of Illinois, he apologized, right, and he was upfront about everything, and that's what it's all about, is at least being there for the community and just being a listening ear. Right, sometimes that's all they need is just somebody to listen and understand that. Look, I'm not expecting you to be perfect all the time. Like we can't be perfect all the time. Like that's just simply not how things are going to work. And it's unfortunate, especially in the career path that you guys have, because when that mistake is happening, it can sometimes be fatal. But as long as you're out there trying to do better and be in the community and engage with the community and show them that you care, I think that's what a lot of the people mostly care about, in a sense, to show, okay, I got a department that actually still cares about what I have to say.
Absolutely. I'll let DT share what you want to share about that, say something.
What, for national level, or we still on
Just
that?
in general,
Just in general is relating to people in the community and let them know that we're actually people too. Yeah. And they have to understand this is our job, this is what we have to do. But when you have a certain situation to that circumstance, it's like, is more so understanding. You have to treat the community like if it's family, like if somebody passes away or something like that, you got to be able to show support. And a lot of times officers get bad reputations, and it's like we get caught up in a lot of stuff with the job in general, but when it comes to something like that, they just want to see that you are human also.
Exactly.
That you show emotions, you have feelings like sympathy and empathy, and a lot of times people don't get to see that side of us because we have to do our job. But in a situation like that, you got to know how to do some self-reflection and able to flip it and actually show them that, I care.
Right.
And a lot of times it's hard to do that if you've been working in a job for a long period of time, because sometimes you get jaded, and then it's like it's that self-reflection piece that you need. But for the most part, it's more so just showing them that you're human, showing you, like, it been so many times I've been in the community and like a little kid will walk up to me and just give me a hug. And that's a completely different like vibe to get when I actually first started this position. Like when kids used to see us, they'd run away like, oh, that's the police. Now they run up to us, they give us hugs, they ask for stickers. I think they actually was getting some baseball cards together.
We gotta get those.
But it's just building that rapport again. Show that you actually care.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could put it any better. The human part of it. I'm a firm believer, and this is just my own creed, so to speak, when it comes to law enforcement. I'm a firm believer that if you don't love the people, it's very hard to truly serve the people, right? And if we're looking at those who are out there as human, even when they do something to mess up, right, we still have to treat them with respect, and which the majority of us do, all right?
Most definitely.
But truth to be told, there are human beings that take this oath and that take this job, and sometimes things happen where, like DT mentioned, if you look at it even like family, sometimes your family do something, and you like, man, Why do they do that?
Yeah.
You know, if you're at a family reunion, you know, we always have that uncle or that person or somebody.
that cousin.
You like, man, this dude, man. And they do something and they mess up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, of course, with this, the young lady you were just mentioning. I mean, that's
Yes.
tragic, and because that's someone that's actually been lost to life. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's just being honest and saying, hey, you know, as speaking on law enforcement, we apologize, we're sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when things go on like that, and that we, you know, and so National Night Outs are a chance for the general public and the community to see us in another aspect, as DT said, other than when we have to do enforcement.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, truth to be told, there are people in the community that are out there and they sometimes, you know, victimize other people.
Right.
Right. So we have to take care of that element and do what we need to do. But we need to do that in a professional manner.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's another side to us too.
Right.
You know, and law enforcement isn't just enforcement part, especially when you're policing in an urban setting. We should also be there as, you know, part of the solution to offer people resources as well. So that's why this is a wonderful way to have people come out and gather and see that, hey, you know, we're the community. As Sir Robert Peel would say, the police is the community and the community is the police.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
Yeah, citizens are the police and the police are
Right.
the citizens. So.
That's absolutely true. I actually want to touch on one thing that you said, DT, was sometimes it can be tough to not in a sense get in that robot mindset, right? Because if you've been on a department for a long time, you know, you've seen a lot of bad things, you've seen a lot of negative things, right? And sometimes it's easy to kind of desensitize from all that stuff. How do you make sure that you continue to include that human aspect and continue to have that empathy throughout these situations? Understand, like, yes, although I've been in this position for a long time, I've seen a lot of messed up things, but you know what? It's important that I don't desensitize the things that's going around. I still have that human aspect to it. How do you keep that in perspective, in a sense?
Well, for me, I just be myself at the end of the day. I can't fake and portray. I can't be nothing that I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people put that tough role on. And I tell a lot of kids, like, I don't know any billionaires that's tough or gangster, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just be myself. Like, I'm human too, so I have emotions. I feel certain ways. I just try to remain myself. Like, I'm the same person when I take off the uniform as when I actually have the uniform on. And I try to stay like that, even though certain situations you have to take that law enforcement approach.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I just try to be myself. Like, if I wasn't in this uniform, what would I do?
Right.
And being in the community and growing up in the community, how would I feel? So it's basically putting myself in their shoes and see how they actually feel before I approach the situation. And like you said, a lot of times it's just listening.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want to vent because they don't have nobody to talk to. And that's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But it's like a lot of times in the urban community, we don't go to like a therapist to talk to.
Right.
You just need to vent sometimes. And a lot of times a lot of people go to grandma, big mom,
Mm-hmm.
and you can vent to big mom. But when big mom is going to a better place, who do you have?
Right.
And people don't understand that. So a lot of times it's just like a lot of built up anger. And a lot of times you don't know how to control it. You don't know how to use an outlet like working out or doing something to actually relieve that. So it's just built up. But once that opportunity comes and you have a group of people, that's when everything come out. But
Right.
if you actually sit there and pull that person to the side and actually talk to them, deep down inside is something else going on. Because we're not violent people at all. It's something that's actually triggering you. So it's just remembering that and think about how you are on the other side, and that's the way I do it. Everybody have their own solutions of what they do, but as far as with me, that's how I look at the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can attest to that. You know, when DT mentioned about, you know, being the self, I remember when I first came on, it was that thing like, oh man, I'm an officer now, I'm a police officer. So I always, every night going to work, you know, I always felt like, man, I had to put on this Yeah, I had to get in this mindset because they would always talk about that. Hey, get into this mindset because you got people out here that, you know, are going to want to do harm and they're doing all these things and you just got to. And you start to understand once you go along and kind of wisdom kicks in is that it's one thing to be, what's the word I'm looking for? To be alert and aware, you know, of your surrounding, right? But that doesn't mean that you have to be all stoic all the time
Right.
or have this certain persona. The people, especially the vets that I were around when I first came around, the ones who had the longest, most successful, and healthiest career were always jovial, they were personable, and, you know,
They were human.
They were human, they were people. They were, you know, they were down to earth and personable. You know, and so I was like, man, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep, every time I went into work each night, because I worked late shift, it's like going into a movie set. I felt like I had to, like, oh man, I had to get into character.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
man,
good,
I'm going out here and I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And man, that gets tiring after a while, you
I
know.
believe it.
And I just felt myself becoming more able to deal with the situations that I would go into.
Yeah.
When I was just who I was, and each situation I go in, I let that dictate who I am, you know. And majority of the situation, night after night after night, you're not just going and kicking in doors and chasing people. And so you just kind of learn to tweak that and just be yourself, and that's the healthiest way to like have a longevity in this career.
I really like that. Y'all said a lot of just really good things, and this is honestly even beside like outside of law enforcement, right? I think it's important for us to just remember that in life that we have to be human, and like, you know, coming from a person who's a faith and who's a believer in Christ, right? There's often this perception that, you know, oh, we're perfect people and we never do no wrong and we always have to live by this code, but it's like that's just simply not true. Like at the end of the day, we're still human and we still make mistakes and we still have emotions. And I think a big thing that you guys are all hitting on is that you have to get in tune with your emotions, right? So for example, even with me, like, you know, yesterday, you know, I was upset, right? I was upset. I was a little bit frustrated at certain situations.
But you actually got upset.
Hey, right? See, right? But the thing is, I'm still not lashing out at people, right? You know, I'm internalizing my feelings and processing my emotions without actually going out there and still being mean to somebody. I could be upset and still go over, hey, how your day going? You know, I still have that capability, but it's still important to process your emotion. And not just like push it to the side and act like, you know what, I'm not feeling this at all. I'm not frustrated at all. Because when you do that, you're just going to get even more frustrated because you're suppressing how you're actually feeling. So that's why I think it's so important that we stop putting on this facade in this front that, you know, everything is always going perfect. Like, no, things can be tough sometimes. You're not going to be perfect again. Like, you're human at the end of the day. And it's just understanding that, you know, sometimes you have emotions and you're going to deal with certain things. But, and it's okay to have those emotions and process those emotions and be in that little, you know, I was talking to one of my friends. I told her, you know, that I was frustrated and everything like that. But I was like, I said, I'm not ready to give it to God yet. Because I just want, I was like, let me be angry real quick. You know, I want to be frustrated. And that's how it is sometimes. Like, you have to, it's okay to take that, you know what, that was 5 minutes. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna be in my feelings real quick. But after that, snap out, give it to God and let him work out and handle everything.
DT, you're not married yet, right? No. So I know you're not.
Nah. Dang, he got to say it like that.
Well, you told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told us. You know, that God is still developing. That
Yeah.
division. But you'll find when you're married and you have kids, you do that often. You do that often. I find it with my teenage daughter, you know, and I take a minute and I have to go back, and I'm not afraid to apologize.
That's good.
And I'm like that with my wife as well. I'll be the first to say, hey, you know what? You know, maybe I was a little bit too passionate about what I said, and if this is the way you think about it, that's fine. You know, because we're all human. Like you said, we all go through that. You know, but what I wanted to ask and what was on my mind, even in the way into the studio today, I want to ask both of you brothers to get your opinion, and I'll tell you mine too. What, either in the last few years, or it could be immediate within the last few weeks, or it could be in years, what have you taken a vow for yourself that how you want to move in life? What do you vow to do? How do you want to approach life, right? What do you take a vow to do as far as approaching life? What is your kind of your creed, your motto to approaching life?
That's a good one.
You
You take it first? Yeah, let the
first?
go. No, you got it. That's a really good question.
Mine's is treat people the way you want to be treated. I believe in karma, like vibration frequencies, like it's just treat people the way you want to be treated, because what goes around comes around at the end of the day, and whatever you put out in the universe, it's going to come back to you. So if you're always pushing out good things, regardless if somebody's doing something bad to you, you continue to do good things, because two wrongs don't make a right. So what I learned is just keep doing positive stuff and pushing that positive energy into the universe, and it's eventually going to come back to you. It might not be right away, but it's going to come back to you, and you feel more healthier, you feel good about yourself, and you don't have no regrets towards anything you do or say.
Absolutely. It's essentially what you reap what you sow, right? If you out there pushing negativity, hey, you're going to get negativity also. One thing for me, and there's a lot, so like, of course, big is just like love in general, right? That's very blatant, but basic. But there's one thing that I've been trying to tell myself lately, and I want to say this is recent too. And it's funny because my friend, she actually has a podcast, and on her podcast, I'm gonna shout it out, it's called Ready, Set, God. So it's a really amazing podcast. And they were talking about, it's about progression, not perfection, right? And I'm the type of person who I see myself now, I like to be perfect. Right now, I like to not mess up or anything. Like, even when I give messages at my dad's church and everything, like, I'm practicing it all the time, and I'm trying to get every word down packed, and I'm trying to do this perfect type of thing. And then if I fall short, it's like, dang, like, I messed up. I wasn't perfect. So I've been telling myself recently, probably as of the last maybe 2 to 3 weeks or so, I would say, about it, I told myself now, is like, I'm going to be okay with making mistakes, because I'm not going to be perfect. And I think that thing is going to really help me move forward, and by me making mistakes, I think I'm gonna learn so much more and allowing that room to grow. That's one of the vows that I just took, is just not being perfect.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
What about you?
Yeah, well, me, I decided, and it's probably when I turned 50, which was 4 years ago. My thing is, and I remember hearing Lenny Kravitz say this, man, I want my life to be about amplifying love. And I remember I heard you say love.
Yeah.
And that's a very basic thing, and it's a very complex thing at the same time, because love gets thrown around a lot.
It does.
A lot. But that type of love that you have, where it's a deep-seated agape love,
Yep.
That comes from just loving another person because they're human. But I think, and the best way to do that is to habitually move like that and behave like that, and let it be in the language and the way that you talk,
Yes.
And if you do that and make habit of it, it becomes easier to do that, right?
Yeah.
Love for others, and then also love for yourself.
Yep.
My favorite Bible verse, one of them, and you probably know this by heart. See, I don't know the Bible verses by
I'm bad.
heart.
I'm gonna say it right now. I'm bad at remembering scriptures.
I should ask you.
Nope, don't even do it.
But it's 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7.
13.
Does that sound familiar to you?
I mean, listen, like I said, I'm not one of those people who gonna be able to pull up Bible scriptures off the top of my head.
So it says that love is patient, love is kind.
Yep.
Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. And I just want my life to be an amplification of just love.
I love it,
you know,
man.
in every aspect.
It's hilarious because even when you said love, I'm not gonna lie. When you said like, "What is love?" I'm over there thinking. I literally said in my head, "Love is patient, love is kind." But I don't know where that verse actually comes from. Like I know it,
But you
but
know,
I don't. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. Never know
Yes,
where
sir.
it verse,
Yes,
where
sir.
it comes from.
Well, what we would like to do real quick, I know Officer Thompson just mentioned District 7's National Night Out, but we do want to run down a list of the other 6 districts we have besides 7. We have 7 districts, but the other districts as well in their National Night Out and their dates.
Okay, the second one is actually the next day, Wednesday, August 7th, and that's actually District 4.
District 4.
The next one will be Thursday, August 8th, it will be District 6. And then Friday, August 9th, you have District 1. Tuesday, August 13th, you have District 2. Wednesday, August 14th, you have District 5. And Thursday, August 15th, you have District 3. And as far as the locations and their activities, you can actually look up on Facebook, or you can go to like the MPD website and you can find the actual address as far as with the locations for those districts.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for doing that. Yeah, as you said, go to that district, whatever district you live in, pull up their Facebook.
Yep.
They should have the a flyer or information
Yeah,
posted on there.
most definitely. And when you're at those, when you go to a national night out, take a picture with an officer. You know, we're currently doing a promotion right now where if you take a selfie with an officer and tag it on Facebook, Instagram, or X, as they call it now, and have the hashtag more than an officer, you actually have a chance to win State Fair tickets. So go to our website, go to the FPC page, go to the Milwaukee Fire and Police Commission or Milwaukee Police Department Facebook page, and just get more information about how you can do that too.
And quickly, before we end, there's one quick thing I would like to mention, because I promised a good friend of mine and ours, Shannon Vick, and Elena, that I would mention that they're having a back to school bash. Iron Fist Fitness. Iron Fist Fitness is located at 12040 West Freerick Street, Unit H in Wauwatosa. So 12040 West Freerick Street in Wauwatosa. They're having a back to school bash on August 17th, Saturday, August 17th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Free backpacks and school supplies. They were our guests last week on here. They've been wonderful collaborators and partners with us. So I just wanted to put that out there. So
I'm happy that you did that, because that's that's just a beautiful another way to give back to your community. So definitely take advantage of that and check them out on their Instagram page, Iron Fist Fitness and everything, and get more information about that too.
Well, DT, you got a little bit. We were going to go a little bit deeper into this brother here and his story. We gonna get to that.
Oh yeah. We'll get deeper into the story. I know this won't be the last time that you'll be a guest on the show.
Absolutely, yeah. We wanted to get it. I mean, we always say we let the spirit take us where the spirit wants to take us, and felt the need to get into the whole National Night Out, community policing. So this was a wonderful conversation.
It truly was. So that's it. That's a wrap. Appreciate the listeners out there. Thank you again. And God bless.
God bless. Talk to you next week.